Hi everybody, welcome to the channel. So today I am doing an ATC card. This is based on this picture, which was the prompt for the card. This is from a group that I'm in on Facebook. And this bleeding heart immediately made me think of my mom and her garden. So I am going to use this floral scrap that I had in my scrap box. I'm going to glue it to my ATC blank. I just cut these out of cheap watercolor paper from the dollar store. I like using these for blanks because they just are convenient and I can cut a whole bunch at once. So I'm going to trim this out with my scissors so I can see exactly what I'm working on. I've already cut out a couple of teeny tiny little pink hearts, and these are only about a ½ inch tall. They are cute. You can see them to the left of the screen at the top. And I put some silk flowers there to go with it. And when I did that, I realized that I was going to have to ink this card now because there would be no opportunity to do it later. The flowers would get in the way. So I did that. And now I'm going to glue these little hearts down. See how small they are? Only about a ½ inch. But on this card, they're a perfect size. And I'm only going for the feel of the bleeding hearts because if you've got a garden that's really planted thick and you've got some bleeding hearts in there, you know that they kind of dangle and grow in amongst all the other flowers, especially if you've got a nice big plant. The bleeding hearts kind of peek out, and that's the way that they did in my mom's garden because she had so much in there. It was a wonderful garden, so natural looking and just so lush. Yeah, this is just such a nice memory for me that picture brought back. So I used the paint pen to outline the hearts, and then I also used it to add a little bit of splatter. I just banged the paint pen. Not much splatter. There's only a few little bits on my card, but they're there. So I used the gold paint pen. This is from the same set. I got this set on Amazon. I'll leave a link below in the description. But there were 8 pens in the box, and there were 2 each of gold, silver, black, and white. All the colors you need for something like that. So I had that on there, and then I thought, I wonder if I want a little bit more splatter, just a bit. And I just purchased these pots of paint from the dollar store, and this green was in there. And look how perfect a match it is for the green in that floral print for my background. So it's really thick paint. Sometimes I don't even have to water down the acrylic paints that I get from the dollar store for using for splatter. But in this case, this is a really thick paint. They're really nice. It's called Artist Series, and I got it at Dollarama. So if you see these, there's 4 paints, I believe, in a box, maybe 5 in a box, and they can come in little color sets. So I watered this down to add a little bit of my splatter. And then I was happy with that. I didn't even know if any of it was going to show, but you don't start putting your top pieces on until you're happy with your background. And this is my background. So I'm using Glossy Accents here. Glossy Accents is the perfect medium for gluing down anything that you're worried that could get pulled off or will fall off later. The silk flowers, I wanted to use a little bit of these pearl beads for the centers. And pearl beads don't stick to, especially the round ones. These are completely round. They're not flat back. Yeah, you can tell, right? I mean, If you drop one, it's hard to corral it again. So the glossy accent sticks up in that little hole that's in the center of the flower. So I put glossy accents down, put the flower over it. It pops up through that hole. I put a pearl bead on top. And when that pearl bead dries to the paper, it sticks that silk flower down too. It's not going anywhere. So yeah, so I put 3 of these in the top right corner, and I was thinking 2 in the bottom left corner would be enough. I know the rule of odd numbers, but I mean, it's still an odd number because there's 5 on the card, right? That there wasn't enough glossy accents there for me. It didn't quite come up through the hole far enough. I wanted to make sure that was going to grab this little pearl. So it takes a while for the glossy accents to work. It'll grab in about 4 or 5 minutes, but it's really thick so it doesn't run all over the place, and it won't be dry until tomorrow morning. So I grabbed another silk flower, and this has green tones in it. And I'm just using my scissors to cut from the breaks in the petals to that hole in the center. And I'm creating these little leaves. They're tiny, but they suit the flowers. So a little bit of glossy accents onto my plastic mat that I'm working on here, because it'll hold these silk flowers down too. The easiest way is to grab them, stick them in the glossy accents like this, and then just tuck them under. It takes just the slightest little bit of the glossy accents, and these are going to be here forever. They're so pretty. This card is coming together so nicely. I'm so happy with the way it's turning out. I was having a little bit of trouble trying to get that one where I wanted it. So I've got my flowers, I've got some leaves, I've got the pearl centers, and wow, doesn't that make a big difference to this card? Now, the last thing that I need is a little sentiment. And I went to my Tim Holtz Big Chat words and picked out some words that I thought would convey that this was a beautiful memory for me. So that's what I'm putting down here. I'm using my art glitter glue on these. So I love the Tim Holtz chat words, but I do find that they will, the ink or the glue on the back of them will dry out a little bit and they come off later. So I always add a little bit of wet glue to them. So I was going to take my black paint pen, but decided to go with white because I wanted this to have an airy feeling. And as soon as I grabbed my black paint pen, I was really thinking that it might anchor the center too much. It might be too bold. And I want the sentiment to be an overall part of this card, but I don't want it to be the focal point. I just want the overall card. I want everything to be cohesive so that you get a feel from the card instead of seeing the individual points. And what I'm going for here is just this garden feel. So I had to go back and grab the word ah. Yeah. I forgot to pick it out, and it's a good thing because I probably would have lost it on my desktop. So I'm going to go around it with the white paint as well. And then this card is going to be done. So what do you all think of this card? It's so simple. This is an easy one. You could do this. You pick your own background paper, add a couple hearts, add some florals to your top and your bottom corners, opposite corners, add a sentiment, and that's all it takes for doing this card. The little details like the splatters, the outlining and things like that, that's all up to you how you want it to look. But that's how it turned out. And it's absolutely beautiful. And this was a loving memory for me. So if you've enjoyed this shorter style of video from me, please let me know in the comments. Please give it a like. It's free and it helps my channel get noticed by YouTube. And also, if you haven't already subscribed, please do that now. YouTube tells me, my stats tell me that most of the people that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So do that. Bye-bye for now, everyone. Have a great day.